Great day, everyone. Great day, everyone. How are y'all doing today? This is Diamond McNulty, and I want to welcome you to the Overnight Success Podcast, where we do one thing. We empower high schoolers and college students to succeed in life. And hopefully, at the same time, we encourage some adults to let them know that anything that they've been dreaming of is still possible. So I'm your host, Diamond McNulty, the founder and creator of the Success Club, CEO of McNulty International, and I'm always excited to join you inside the boardroom. Today we have an amazing guest. When I say amazing, I should have brought all of my bells and whistles and all of my medals to go along with all of her accolades. She's been a crucial individual inside the community, supporting over 30,000 youth. Born and raised in California, but currently still in Georgia. She has when I say dual degrees, accounting and business from Georgia State. So we got to give them woo, 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 woo. At the same time, right now, she is currently the national program director for Usher's New Look and extremely successful. So I can't wait to bring her in. Let me bring her in, everyone. Jessica Washington.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. Let's get it going. That's what I'm talking about. Now, to go along with that, I'm telling you, it's so much more that I could say, but I'll turn it over to Jessica. Is there anything you want to share with our audience before we get started?
No, I'm just really grateful to be here. I think it's really cool when you're doing passion work, right? You're working, you're
Yes,
just doing what's necessary. You don't really stop to think about it. But when
yes,
folks like you stop and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about what you're doing," then you kind of stop and reflect, like, "Oh, I guess I am
yes,
kind of doing a lot." So thank you
yes.
for reminding me of my journey and what I've been doing, and I just appreciate being here.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. When I think of success, I think of you. That your trajectory is so important, right? You go step by step, but not only just your trajectory, your kids, like you mentioned, right? And all of the lives that you have touched. It's important for our youth now to know that someone that's in the community, if you haven't been exposed to everyone, now they'll get a chance to know exactly who you are.
Love it. Love it.
so
Thank you.
so let's get started. So Jessica, born and raised, tell me a little bit about your upbringing and where you were born and raised and how your family dynamic started off.
Oh man. Well, I always tell people I think I had the best childhood. I feel like I had a very storybook childhood. Grew up in Southern California in Long Beach
Hmm.
and loved every minute of it. It was beautiful with my mom and dad and my siblings. And I told myself several different times that I was going to be several different kinds of people. I'm going to be a therapist. I'm going to be a psychiatrist. I'm going to be a real estate agent. I'm going to be a track star. I just remember childhood dreams. And then
Wow.
I would say high school really
Yeah.
changed, introduced me to a new version of myself. I went to
Mm.
Long Beach Poly High School, the best high school in the country. Um, uh, you know, and so going there really opened me up to a world that I had never really been exposed to. So where growing
Right.
up, I had a really kind of, I guess I was pretty sheltered. And so
Yes.
going to Long Beach Poly really changed everything. And I'm just really grateful for all those jackrabbits introduced me to life. So it was good.
When you talk about that, right? So here you are in Long Beach, and you said
Mhm.
that you were ambitious, right? So when
Yeah.
you were younger, you said, okay, I wanted to be this, that. Like, how did you focus? Did anyone, at what age was it where you were like, this is my pathway to success?
Um, the thing was my parents nurtured all of my desires. Anything that I was
Mm.
interested in doing, I liked ballet. They put me in 4 days of ballet. I wanted to play tennis. My dad, took me out to the tennis court every day, had me in lessons, basketball, volleyball, whatever it was that I was interested in. They showed me how to do it. Whether art. My mom was really big into art, so I just was able to really use my imagination. My imagination went wild, and I thought, oh, I thought I thought I knew everything about everything, and little did I know that there was still a whole world out there. Like I said, high school wise, but I continued to evolve, and even the person I was when I finished high school isn't who I am now, right?
Right.
And so, kind of opportunistic, taking advantage of what was in front of me and the opportunities that were available, and then using the skills that I had and what my parents taught me and instilled in me, my work ethic and things like that. So I was able to take advantage early on of some great opportunities that really just catapulted me to the next and the next and the next. So
That is powerful. And I say you pointed on so much, right? That those early exposures and your parents were intentional. Now, parents, that if you're watching, you have to be intentional about your child's success. If
yeah.
they're interested in certain things, you have to give them those exposures or at least the opportunity to figure out if they're really interested or not
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
that age when they're
Yeah.
coming up. So you said high school was a crucial time. Did you go to a vocational school? And how did you navigate that? Well,
I was very impressionable. I learned there were lots of different kinds of people. I was exposed to a lot of different things in high school. Um, but again, when I fall back on my childhood and the way I was raised, I was able to quickly navigate or steer away from things that I didn't feel like were really great for me, whether it be friends, little boyfriends,
mm,
um, party life, or just things that you could get into in high school.
yeah,
I felt immediately when things were good or not good for me.
that discernment was important. So no
Yes.
matter what environment you was in, because you have different types of environments, right? But that discernment, I shouldn't do this. I should do this. These are the decisions that I should make. Is there any advice that you will give a high schooler now? Because you were around a lot of youth too that would help them on their path.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think in high school, we don't realize how soon like adulting and life is about to start.
Yeah.
Right? So I think in high school, we have this weird sense of almost a false sense of security. We're in high
Mm-hmm.
school and we're just like having fun, kind of. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't realize that the decisions we're making in these 4 years, how much they're going to impact like the next
Yeah.
5 years. And
Yes.
and like I always tell, I say this often. A lot of people say that the first 5 years of your life are like the most important years. You really got to nurture babies, the
Yeah.
first until they're 5. That's so important. I kind of differ. I feel like the
Mm.
5 years after high school and what you do with that time
Yeah.
literally can determine the rest of your life.
It can.
Can you
Yes.
I mean, think about it. So
Yes.
so when you're in high school, realize that that's like your buffer before the world gets you, right? And
Yes.
so really kind of taking advantage of opportunities,
Yes.
get yourself, it's not necessary for you to just stay with one group of kids the whole four
Yeah.
years. It's like get
Yes.
your feet wet, do some other things, try some things because pretty soon you're not going to get those opportunities to just try this and try that and try that.
Yes.
And I'm really grateful for the variety of
Mhm.
exposure that I got. I didn't just hang with one clique of people. I had, some
Yes.
friend groups and stuff, but you
Mhm.
a lot of people knew me in high school for different reasons, not, just because I hung with one group and I was just one kind of character. And so I think,
Yeah.
taking advantage of that is really, really important so that after high
Mhm.
school, you're ready to really take on these early adult years, and
Yes.
really hit the ground running.
Hello, my name is Diamond McNulty, and I want to welcome you to the McNulty International Success Club, where we help youth and adults create their personal success plans to achieve their dreams in life. Visit McNultyInternational.com today and register. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of y'all inside the boardroom. Yes. And like you said, you probably still know some of those individuals from high school because you were,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, over here and over there and connecting. Connecting with is extremely important. Now, high school to college, how
Yeah.
was that transition and what determined your decision to go to Georgia State?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, and not a lot of people know this story. Well, I guess actually a lot of people because they did write an article when I graduated. So whoever read that article know this. But it took me 24 years to graduate from college.
Wow.
No, and you don't realize because I took a kind of a different pathway. I didn't know I was going to go to college right after high school.
Mhm.
Everybody was going, and so I did enroll
Mhm.
at the community college, but I didn't really know how to do it.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking a traditional pathway like my big sister had gone on to Berkeley right after school, and she took a very serious
Yeah.
educational pathway. I
Okay.
didn't.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a job, traveling around the world with them. I became a mother early on, got married early, had more kids. And so I was going to school, but I was doing just a little bit. And then I would take, a
Mm,
5 year break, no school, because, of course, family priorities over that.
yeah.
So I didn't take, there's nothing traditional about what I did after high school. I don't know that I would even recommend it for people. It worked for me in the long run. I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm healthy. But I don't know that it was the best. You know, it worked for me. And like, I look back at my kids now and I'm like, yes, I love it for them that things worked out the
Yes.
way it did. But yeah, I didn't have, okay, I'm going to school. I didn't have that traditional trajectory
Yes.
at all.
But
At all.
but that's the great thing about this discussion too, because there's some more youth right now that may not have that traditional pathway.
Right.
There's some that may take a quick break, and then you hear certain individuals that say, "Don't take a break,"
Yeah.
but you were able to make the right decisions or your decisions based off of where you were in the moment, and you
Yeah.
navigated and never gave up either.
No,
So
I didn't. I did not.
that
I
that's
mean, I was very, like I said, opportunistic. When I saw that,
yeah,
a job was easy, or the kids were all in school, and I realized, oh man, I have like 5 hours a day. I could be doing something real. Oh, I'm going to go to school. Let me see if I can get some more classes in. Right. So what I would say, if anyone, the young people are listening, well, if they're more mature audience that's listening, don't give up, don't stop. It's not too late. If you
yeah,
if you started it, finish it. Right now, if
yeah,
you're a young person, I would just say I wish I would have kind of chosen myself a little earlier, and really stayed the course and invested in myself and made myself more of a priority um, earlier, because college was not that hard. I don't
yeah.
know what I was afraid of. I don't know why I hesitated, or doing a little bit at a time, like I didn't think I could handle it. I can handle it.
Mm,
You can
mhm.
handle it. It's not that hard. Finish. Just finish, right? So I would definitely say that, stay the course,
Yeah.
invest in yourself, whatever that looks
Yes.
like, whether it's trade school, 2 year, whatever it is, but continue to invest in yourself. You deserve it. You know what I mean? And I had to remind
Yeah.
myself of that it's great. The kids are wonderful. Family life is wonderful, but I should have kind of chosen to invest in myself a little sooner, I think. Yep.
Yeah. But it all came together. So thank God.
It did. It
It
did.
came together. And when I talk about, hey, that's how it happens. Now,
Mhm.
when you look at your current state, how did your career path begin?
In all honesty, it was so funny. I told my coworkers that I was, graduating. They were asking me to have hold a meeting for something, and I was like, "Oh, that's my graduation day." And they were like, "Oh, you're graduating? Are you getting your PhD?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"No." So I was already fully employed. I don't know that I necessarily needed my degree
Yes.
at this stage in life. I was really doing it for myself. So there was no like
Mm,
first job out of school, because I was already fully employed. And my resume, like I was telling you earlier, restaurant management, retail management. Um, I've done so many things. People laugh when they hear about all the careers or jobs that I've done, but I've just really, once I get into something, I pour my whole heart into it. So, and then
so,
when it's done, it's done. It's like, okay, I've done this chapter. I'm ready to move on.
but it's an ascension that I would
Yes.
love to connect those dots, right? So, what was your first job? Just period. What was your first job?
Oh, first job, it was working. I was a camp counselor,
Okay.
and I also worked at a Mexican restaurant. And let me tell you, you are so right, Diamond. That Mexican restaurant, the best part of that Mexican restaurant, it was the green burrito, not the red burrito, not Carl's Jr. stuff. This
Yeah.
was the green burrito. This is where they made everything from scratch. That was the best job for me,
Yes.
because that's when I learned how to speak Spanish. So I'm fluent in
Mm,
Spanish, and it's literally because of the green burrito back when I was 15, 16 years old. I'll
wow.
never forget. I had been taking Spanish for years, but you guys know, everyone knows, you take Spanish. No one learns Spanish from
You don't.
school. And
You
I
don't.
remember standing there on a busy day, and I said, you know what? No one was there. all the English speaking staff had gone home. So it was just me
Right.
and four guys in the kitchen speaking only
Wow.
Spanish. And I was like, oh my gosh, I
Wow.
can either stand here in silence or I'm going to use some of this Spanish that I've learned at school. So I opened my mouth. I regretted it instantly because they were like, "Oh, you speak Spanish." They went off and I was like, "Oh, not that kind of Spanish. I don't know what you're
Right.
saying." But in the long run, I ended up being there for about maybe 2 or 3 years, and
Mhm.
literally they were my best friends. They ended up living right
Wow.
across the street from my high school, so I saw them almost every day, and
Wow.
I became fluent in Spanish, and it changed
Wow.
my life. It opened up so many doors for me, that I didn't even know were possible. So even those early decisions, early jobs, taking advantage. It
Yes.
wasn't just a takeout restaurant. I learned how to speak
Right.
Spanish. I'm fluent because of it, and learned how to cook some really good food too. So
Right. So he right, because you took that opportunity, right?
yeah, yeah,
You had that first job, but you took advantage of that
yes,
opportunity by to learn Spanish, and
yeah,
then you ascended within probably within that job, right? And then
yeah,
transitioning over to others. So
yeah.
how did you make your way throughout that first job to getting that dual degree and understanding the importance of accounting and
Yeah.
entrepreneurship?
That came accidentally. And the accounting degree came first. And after I got that degree, I realized I don't want to be in accounting. I don't want to sit at
Yeah.
a. I don't want to do this. So I put that aside. I said, okay, I don't think that's worth anything for me.
Yeah.
I was already, managing my career. I was in restaurant management. So from that Mexican restaurant, I wish I could be here for hours. I would tell you the crazy, amazing things that happened. But from one restaurant, I learned how to speak fluent Spanish. Another restaurant, I learned the art of suggestive selling, and the CEO
Mhm.
of that corporation saw me and ended up selecting me as a corporate trainer. And so I ended up
Wow.
traveling literally the globe, opening
Wow.
up these restaurant chains. And
Mm.
I did that for quite some time. I was 18 years old, traveling. I was living in other countries for a month, 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was because, and also my fluency with Spanish
Yeah.
helped me to be
Mm.
able to communicate with all of our staff.
Mhm.
And so those kinds of things, taking advantage of those kinds of opportunities were really, really great. And
Mm.
then in management, that's when I was using accounting skills and I didn't even realize it. I was just learning, hands-on learning, going through training. But from that
Yeah.
corporate training position, becoming a manager and then training, I became a training manager.
Wow.
And I say the reason why I'm saying all that is because if you look at my role now as national
Yeah.
program director,
Yes.
I'm writing curriculum, I'm training,
Right.
I'm using all these skills that I started when I was, fresh out of high school, early
Mhm.
adulthood. I'm still developing those talents, those skills, and those things have actually provided opportunities for me in industries that I didn't even know were available or
Wow.
possible. So
Yeah, they all are
I think
transferable.
reminding young people about that is really important. Like, you might be working at Panera or Five Guys or whatever, but you're learning some skills that if you really hone in and like
Mm.
own those things, they could actually catapult you or provide really huge opportunities in the long run. So don't just take it as a quick paycheck, or this is just some dumb job that I'm doing to get a car or whatever. Or they told me to, stand here and take orders, so that's all I'm going to do. Like, there could be some really cool opportunities in that restaurant, that wherever you
Mhm.
are, that could really help you to explore new careers, and you don't know who's watching.
You were young. Now that is something. 18, traveling,
Yeah,
taking advantage of those opportunities, but the skills that you learned, they were transferable to now. And
yeah.
what I realized too myself is that I found myself mentoring and teaching cooking when I was in high school,
Right. And look at you now, Chef Diamond. Come on now.
not even knowing,
Right.
not
Yeah.
even knowing that this same skill, you can build a business and really expand globally.
Yeah. Yeah. No, literally,
Wow.
everything that I am today is, this is I have this role right now with UNL, but
Mhm.
everything that I am is literally a definition of what I've been through, what I've experienced,
Mhm.
what and really my contribution to society based on the experiences that I've had. not
Yes.
taking anything for granted. And I don't believe anything was accidental. I believe every role, responsibility I've ever had has really prepared me for where I am today. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you never know. You can go into that toolbox and pull that out and say,
What you need me to do? What you need me to do? I
I
can do
can
that
pull
too.
I can pull this out.
Yep, exactly.
When someone don't know you, they don't know all of those skills that you may have. So never discount others that you come across and that you meet, because you
Yeah.
never know their pathway,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely not.
So throughout your pathway, has there been any points where you had to handle any setbacks that you had to overcome, and you were like, okay, I got to get back on track, or how did you
Yeah.
deal with it?
So I'll tell you this. My code name with Usher's new look is Mula Mami. And that is because I started as director of financial literacy with Usher's new look. And my
Hmm.
role there was to write curriculum to
Yeah.
teach young people, high school and college students, about money, managing their money.
Yes.
Now, how do you think I did that? I didn't
Right.
go home and read a whole bunch of books on how to teach kids about money. Now, I am certified in financial literacy education. Great, right?
Yeah.
But those lessons, everything that I teach, everything, all the mentoring, all of that stuff came from setbacks. I
Mm.
tell the kids, I think I made every financial mistake. I think. I feel like I checked all the boxes
Wow.
at a young age, right? I
Yeah.
didn't know how to write a check. I didn't know how to balance my checkbook. I didn't know
Yeah.
budget. I didn't know credit. I remember getting my first credit card and it had like a $3,000 limit. And I told someone, yeah, I bought some boots, but I still got $2,800 left to spend. Oh, you don't,
Wow.
girl. Like, I didn't know. I didn't know. And so
Yeah.
everything that I do today, when I tell you everything I do today is because of what I've done. So when you say setbacks, I think
Hmm.
financially, those financial, and I'm not going to call them setbacks because
Yeah. Yeah.
I
They were
keep saying
setups.
catapult, but
They were
man,
setups.
totally.
Yeah.
I would not be here if I had not experienced those things because it's so simple now. I mean, now
Mm.
and look, I'm able to help my own kids. I'm
Mhm.
able to help y'all's kids. Every
Mhm.
I'm excited and I
Yes.
thank God
Yeah.
for those experiences because they didn't break me. I'm fine. I bounced
Yes.
back. Like, look, I'm real estate investor. Like, I'm fine now.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm taken care of. But if it wasn't for those, I couldn't help young people maybe not have to go through all the things that I don't know that I don't think everyone needs to have all. They don't need to check
Yes.
all the financial mistake boxes like I did.
Yeah.
They may trip, and stumble a little bit, but if I can
Mhm.
kind of help them understand how money works at an early age, they
Mhm.
can start using money, to really help them,
Yes.
and they don't have to make as many mistakes as I did. Because that was a little something. And when you make a mistake, like with your credit, it lasts for 7 to 10 years. So
Oh
it's
man.
it's a financial horror sentence. And so
Yes.
I don't want people to go through that. So
Yes.
when you're talking about setbacks, yeah, that would be it. I think that really defined how I handled everything else in life was because of those financial lessons. Can I say
Eh,
that?
yeah, no, that's exactly. We all go through it, right? So, and depending on if you were born at the bottom of the bottom, some people are born at the bottom of the bottom, and have to go they have to learn certain mistakes because they don't have anyone to teach them or guide them. So
Yeah,
that's why it's important for those who are watching, right? Just listen in, really pay attention, and understand that there are individuals in position that want you to learn from their mistakes
so much.
and not make your own, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now,
Listen, I'll tell you. I don't know if you remember the episode of the Cosby Show, but where Bill Cosby tells Theo, "Your mom and I are rich. You have nothing, right?" I thought that I was rich because my parents were well off.
yeah,
That's not how that
no,
works. And
no.
and as I get older, I don't just assume their financial state, right? So I was
Hmm.
learning things on my own and realizing I couldn't buy the same foods that I grew up eating. I couldn't live in the same kind of house that I grew up living in. Like that stuff cost real money. And so, I had to learn
You
pretty
had to,
quickly
you had
how
to
to adapt.
learn.
So.
They was looking at you like, hold on, what are you thinking?
And my friends they were like, how do you afford that kind of, I didn't know any better. So.
What kept you motivated throughout that journey when you were in and out of college? Like, just what did you hold on to say, I'm gonna keep going, I'm not gonna stop?
You already know
I know.
those children. Those
Hmm.
children. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sitting here telling my kids that they need to get really good grades in school. I'm telling my son, let's go tour some campuses. My other son,
Yeah.
my oldest son Marlon, he was in the military. I'm giving them all of this advice
Mhm.
and setting them up and telling them all these things. Okay, but I needed to be doing it, right? So I
Yes.
think the motivation was my own lessons to my kids. Like I started
Yeah.
listening to myself, like, how am I going to hold them to this bar way up here? And I'm not
Yes.
doing that for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I was pouring into their spark, whatever their interest was at the time and investing in them, I realized I had things that I was interested in too. So I was just taking my
Mm.
own advice, you know.
Right. Right. And you didn't, and I call it success recovery too, because sometimes as adults, when you have kids, you really sacrifice so that you can catapult them, but you really don't want to let yours go either. I think it's
Mhm.
possible for adults to continue, but you just got to figure it out, right?
And they're
So,
watching me. Like even now, and they're adults.
mhm.
I remember my son when he and his wife, I think they were engaged. They weren't even married
Mm.
yet, but they were having, they would call me every couple weeks and do real estate calls with me.
Oh,
So like he had been watching me learn and understand investing and things like that. And so they were watching me grow, right?
yes.
So instead of, giving up on myself and just being here for the kids and just helping them have a great life but not investing in myself, I don't know that that would have landed the same way. So them watching me fall and be resilient and get back up, them
Hmm.
watching me learn new things. Even at
Yes.
my age, I'm still learning new things. When I did
Yes.
my when I bought a duplex and renovated it and stuff, I was showing them all the hard days too.
Yes.
Like this is what happened today. A tree fell in the yard today, or my contractor quit, and now I'm painting by myself and whatever. But I was showing them the hard stuff, the struggle. And
Yes.
just this morning, my son came to visit, and he was looking at he came and toured the duplex, and he was like, "Mom, you did it. Like
Yes.
this looks amazing." Like like you did it. So they
Yeah.
need to see that even at my age, there's no time
Hmm.
to quit on yourself. You got to continue to invest in yourself. People, I said, you never know who's watching, right? But
Oh.
my own kids are watching, and they're watching me
Mm.
see how is mom going to handle this. Okay, here's another stumble. Here's another challenge mom is going through. But how did she handle that? Did she make it
Yes.
through? Did she, was she able to overcome? Is she stronger and better now? Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
actually I am. Yeah. You
Yes.
ain't seen nothing yet. I'm just getting
Oh,
started.
just getting started. That's what I'm talking. That fresh
Right.
fire.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Yeah. So
Now, now you like you said you were in different industries. Now, what role did networking and
mm,
connecting with others play
that
in
was
your path?
That was literally everything. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll tell you my favorite story is with New Look. So
Mm.
with New Look, I had an opportunity when I was with Operation Hope. Um, Truist Bank, they called me and they said, "Hey Jessica, we teach adults about money, but we don't teach young people. We have an opportunity to partner with this nonprofit organization. Can you write us a lesson? We need to teach them.
Mm.
Can you write a lesson and can you train us on
Mm.
it?" So that we can present it to this organization. Okay. And I was like, yeah, I've never done that before, but I'll do it. Yes, I'll
Yeah.
create. So I created a whole little lesson. I trained then it was SunTrust at the time, but I trained a whole group of teammates. And so the day of that they were going to present it to this organization that I'd never heard of before, they presented it. They said, "Oh, you should come. And so you should watch us do this. Since you wrote
Wow.
it and created it, you should come." So I was like, "Okay, I'll come down and check it out." So I came, I got to meet the staff, I got to meet the young people. of this really cool organization called Usher's New Look. I'd never heard of it before. This is fun. So the day ended and I went back to my job with Operation Hope. No big deal. Um, 2 years later, 2 years later,
Wow.
random Friday, I'm at the car wash. I get a call from I don't know what her role was then. I think she was a director maybe or something. She wasn't president or anything yet, but she
Hmm.
called me and she said, Jessica, we got a grant from Truist to write our own financial literacy curriculum. And I know you wrote that great lesson 2 years ago.
Wow.
I have a position we need filled, and I want you to do it. I want you to come write. Because Usher's New Look had been around for 2 decades, but they didn't have financial literacy curriculum. And the Truist had given them money to write it, but they had to hire somebody to do it. And so when you're talking
Mm.
about the power of networking, I mean, we're
Wow.
talking about two
Wow.
years went by,
Wow.
right? And um 2 years went by and that's how I got my role. That's
Wow.
I wasn't applying, I didn't put my resume anywhere, I didn't do anything. Um and that's how I got my role here.
You showed up, right?
Right.
But that when by showing up is so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
You you assisted and you helped.
Yeah.
Not that you could have said, no, I'm unavailable. I
Right.
don't want to write another curriculum.
Or I've never
But you,
done it before. Like, oh no, I can't do that because I've never done that before. Right?
mm-hmm.
And that wasn't the case at all. I said, well,
Wow.
let me see. I've never done it before, but I've done this, this, and this. I remember I've written curriculum and I was a training manager in that restaurant, right? A decade before. So I was pulling
Yeah.
all these skills and experiences that I had from all these other jobs. And so when they asked me to do this, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I can do it. And I have
Mm.
kids. So I was practicing those lessons on my kids to see if they liked it. Is this fun? Is this cool enough? Would you like this? Um, and I didn't know that I was interviewing for the career of my life at that time. I had no idea.
Wow.
And that was a decade ago. I mean,
That is so important.
yeah,
Now, I learned that from Joe Hudson when he showed up and he told me always show up for opportunities. You never know what's going to happen.
that's right. You
All you
don't.
got to do.
You don't.
Now, is there any advice that you would give? Like you said, you in different spaces, right? You had your career path, but then you had your own entrepreneurial journey. Is there
Mhm.
any advice that you will give new entrepreneurs that are just starting out that they don't know accounting, or that maybe they do, but what advice would you give them starting out?
Listen. You've got to understand how to count your money. It's so important that you know how to count
Yes,
your money. So, fine if you don't want to get an accounting degree.
yeah,
Fine if you don't want to have a business degree, right? If you have your business and you have this, widget, because we're going to just call
yes.
it a widget. A widget could be
Mm-hmm.
anything, right? You've got the best lip gloss, you got the best red velvet cake. I don't care what it is, right? You're a fashion icon. I don't know, whatever it is that you do that you love to do, your spark,
Mm-hmm.
you still need to understand business. You still
Yes.
need to understand how things work. You need to understand inventory. You need to
Yeah.
understand marketing. You need to understand bookkeeping. You need to because if you have number one, if you have to hire people to do all of those things, okay, there goes your
Got him.
profit. There goes your
Mm-hmm.
profit. That's very expensive. Also, now you're trusting somebody else with your whatever it is. You're trusting somebody else
Mm-hmm.
to manage your inventory. You're trusting somebody else to manage your books and your bank account. Hello. So
Yes.
no matter what it is that you're interested in doing, a lot of young people, you say, are you going to school? No, I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
I know. I
Are you?
know.
Are you? Because at that point, if you don't understand business, you're not necessarily an entrepreneur, you're just self-employed kind of,
Yes. Yes.
right? Because if you're doing all the jobs, if you have to do everything and you're doing all the work, then you're really well, you're not able to make the same kind of money. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really add up. So I would just say for all young people and even us older people,
Mm-hmm.
more mature,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that, more
Yes.
advanced in our years. Okay. But I would say, you got to understand the way things work. You got to understand the business behind it, because everything is a business. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, an athlete. It just doesn't matter. It's all a business, and you need to understand
Yes.
how that paper works. You just do.
Yes. But
Yeah.
the beautiful thing about it, like you said, you took up accounting, and I really want to encourage every entrepreneur learn accounting. I tell you, my first
Mhm.
business was in catering. I didn't go to
Mm.
school for business. So I built the business on my back where I was doing all the jobs. So I was self-employed and I was running like you know what? But then I realized I had to take 3 steps back, slow
Mhm.
down so that I
Mhm.
could learn and speed back up. Now, thankfully, that I had positioned myself with a product line to able
Mhm.
to maintain myself as I was growing. But you want to learn from our mistakes. You want to learn from our journeys that, hey, let me get this at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now,
Seriously, like just
yes.
and it can be easy. You can go on AWS. There's all kinds of online learning. Go to LinkedIn Learning. You can take accounting. Just any kind of courses and things like
Oh,
that. Take a
mm,
series. You can invest. Some people trust YouTube University. That could be an option too. I don't know, but or go to a community college and take a couple of
yes.
bookkeeping courses. Just something where you understand the
Mhm,
processes that are necessary, because that is what's going to catapult you from being self-employed to really
mhm.
being a full-time entrepreneur. And that's really gonna it's what's going to catapult that business and really help you to really expand.
Yes, you have to
Yeah.
remove. Sometimes you gotta stop wanting to put your hands on everything. You only got 2 hands. You gotta hire that team. You gotta back up a little bit. You gotta
Mhm.
empower others. That's that leadership.
Yeah.
That's where leadership comes into play.
Yeah.
So no, that is great. I could talk about that all day too.
From
Just
experience. From
from
experience.
experience. From experience. So what were some of your biggest fears that you had when navigating your own entrepreneurial journey?
Man, and I so regret this. And people used to say, well, not people, there were only a few people that knew this, but I never felt like I belonged in the room. Like I didn't value the experiences that I didn't realize how valuable I was. I did not know that my time in the restaurant business or my time in retail, and I didn't realize that that was invaluable information. Now when I look back, I'm comfortable anywhere. I can go to
Yeah.
any gala, any VIP, anything. It
Yes.
doesn't matter what it is. I can be around anybody. I mean, I
Mhm.
work with Usher. I'm not, you know what I mean? I can be celebrities. It doesn't matter. I belong there. I belong in every room now, because you can ask me about anything, and I've got some experience in it.
Yes.
And I've stumbled along the way. So I've learned, I've had challenges, it hasn't been easy, all of that. So I know now, I just wish I would have realized it sooner, that I wish I would have recognized and acknowledged what I was bringing to the table early on, because
Mm,
I think it kind of it just hindered some of my growth a little bit, because I feared what I didn't know, not realizing that what I did know was so valuable. It was so good. So young people, like, okay, oh, we're quick to say you don't know nothing about nothing because all you've done is gone through high school. But tap into what you really do know, right? You are bringing value to someone somehow, right? So
yes.
being able to identify the value that you bring, and your experiences, they may not be traditional in any shape or form. They may not be degreed, it may not be on that really nice paper. It may not, right? But your experiences are valuable, and they can really assist somebody, and you belong in the room that you're in. You belong there.
Yes.
You're there for a
Yes.
reason, for sure.
Value. And we see it so often. I know I do, where you're undervaluing yourself with your
Yeah,
product or your service.
yeah. Oh yeah, my young entrepreneurs are so quick to say everything they're selling is $5, and I want to be cheap so that people will buy my stuff. And it's like, okay, but it took you 3 hours, so you're paying yourself $1.15 an hour plus the supplies. Like, do you realize what that means when you sell something for $5? Like,
Yes.
but again, value your time, value your
Yes.
contribution, value your skill level, value your experiences, your creativity. You came up with a concept or a widget, whatever it is, you did that somebody else now wants.
Hmm.
If you wouldn't have come up with that idea and put forth the effort, that person wouldn't be able to get what it is that they are now purchasing from you. Put some value on that. That's
Hmm.
important. And
Yes.
don't cheat yourself. Please don't cheat yourself. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't. Not at all. We see the Netflix, spend time researching and developing, test and tweak.
Mhm.
If you want to do a low ticket item, test it amongst a group of people and see how it works.
Mhm.
Do a high ticket item also, right?
Mhm.
So be able to have something that you can test out, because low ticket you can scale amongst a lot of people, but if it's going to
Yeah.
take all of your time,
Yeah.
it's going to be challenging.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. For
So,
sure.
what role did mentorship play throughout your journey? Did you have any mentors, and at what area and what time in
Um,
life?
I've had mentors,
Yeah.
yes. Um, oh man. One of my favorite I've had two that really stick out. Well, three that really stick out, but I
Mhm.
also know I like to call them sponsors. Sponsors
Mhm.
are people that believed in you before you believed in yourself, or they see something in you that you don't see at the time. And so when I started my career with Operation Hope, the president at the time, he turned into my big brother, my mentor, my sponsor, really, because he saw something in me and gave me
Mhm.
opportunities that I didn't even know I was prepared for. And he continues today to continue to pour into me. So I'm really grateful for him. Also, our former CEO with New Look, again, she's the one that called me on that random Friday and said, "I have a position for you." And she saw all of me. And so even along the way with different positions that she gave me, different roles and responsibilities, um, she really supported me. Um, we had some difficult conversations. We celebrated some phenomenal games together, but just really walking me along the way. And it's crazy because sometimes mentors will share a lot about themselves, and I don't remember either of these mentors sharing their personal struggles with me,
Mhm.
which is kind of interesting. Like they weren't mentoring me based on mistakes that they had made and they didn't want to see me. It was like they were completely invested in just Jessica. And they
Wow.
just literally, whenever today, if I call either one of them and say, I have a question, they're going to spend major time with me, just listening to me, hearing me out, and giving me the best advice that they can give for me. So I think that yeah, mentorship is good, and I'm really appreciative for those that have walked in front of me, alongside of me, holding my hand, but also kind of pushing me from the back too to keep going.
You see, now that's what makes you all look. It just puts you together just like that. All of that support, all of those experiences. Is there a particular legacy that you hope to leave behind?
I mean, I hope I'm living in it. I believe that you really do live in your legacy. I think people don't realize the value of their life the way as they're currently living. So I think with my own kids, it's what I said earlier. They have watched me grow as a person. They've seen me, on hard days, and they've seen me, overcome a lot. So I think that's going to be the legacy. I think that
Yes.
they respect and honor what I'm providing for them, and I'm hoping that they have really good stories to tell when I'm no longer here. That will really I believe I've left that a lasting impression on all the other young people. I mean, tens of thousands of kids that I've talked to and mentored with their businesses or their credit. Or I hope that the legacy that I'm leaving behind is, think big, think big. Don't let these little, don't sweat the small stuff, like they
Yeah.
say. Because young people have brought some crazy stories to me, crazy
Wow.
circumstances, whether it was my kids, my kids' friends, younger friends, or the kids that I serve with the organizations and all this nonprofit work that I do. But um, I hope my legacy is just that I continue to think big, um, and that challenges just weren't, they didn't hold me down, you
Yeah.
know? I hope that keep going, think big, and just continue to invest in yourself. I tell the young people that I work with all the time, the best investment you will ever make is in yourself.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Period. The best
Yes.
investment you will ever make is in yourself. And I hope that's
Yes.
the message of legacy that I leave behind for sure.
Man, you definitely touched me. When we first met, I was like, okay. That's it. That's all I had to say was okay. But I love the connection because I saw your passion for the youth, right? I saw that you were in it not just for yourself, but you were in it to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's where I believe we connected too. Because the same for me, I love mentoring. That's why I have the Success Club.
Hmm.
My goal is throughout my trajectory, now that I'm continuing and I'm building my own family and my own legacy in that regard, I want to make sure I wrote the books to leave behind how to become a successful
Right.
young man and woman.
Yes.
All of
We
those,
have several
because
copies in the office, by the way. We still have our
I know.
copies. It's in our lobby. I mean, our library, excuse me. So we loan them out, but we want our books back because those books are good. Yes, we're grateful for those.
it,
We got our copies.
it was important because even one day when we're not here, we want to make sure that success, to let everybody know that success is simple.
Yes.
There's someone that has already taken your pathway, your trajectory that you're looking to take, and all you got to do is tap in, read that book, read a book, because someone has taken 40, 50 years,
Yeah,
organized it into 100 pages, their
that's so
life,
true. Oh my
and all you
goodness.
got to do is read it.
We've taken similar pathways. People have
Mhm.
experienced things and they've thought of the idea that you thought of, but maybe you tweaked it in a different way. But I think it's important for us to um read and get to know and get those experiences, meet those mentors and all of that. But it's important for you to make your own sauce at the end of the day, right? I was telling you
Definitely.
that's I share that with my other son Grant. um, got to make your own sauce. It's got to have
Yes.
your own flavor. I don't want your sauce to taste like my sauce. I've already made that sauce, right?
Yes.
I already know.
Yes.
I want you to tweak it. I want you to make it
Yeah.
yours, right? So you
Ooh.
take a little bit of mom and dad, and a little bit of the village, and a little bit of your teachers, a little bit of your siblings. You make your own sauce, your own
Yes.
something, right? But yes,
Yes.
listening to others, seeing what
You
other
have to.
people, the experiences, you don't have to. I used to tell my kids, like, you're gonna make mistakes. I'm totally
You
fine
won't.
with that. Make mistakes, but do you have to make the same ones that I made though? You have to make the same ones. Don't make the same ones.
That's why you got to learn from others. You got
Come on.
the
You can
same
make
ones.
mistakes. You're not perfect. None of us are. That's fine. I'm ready and I'm here. When you make a mistake, I got your back. But don't make
Yes.
the same
Not the
mistakes that I
same.
made. Don't not learn from me. Right? I don't know.
Right. And sometimes that's why you said community is important. Like you said, you want them to take a little bit from mom and dad, a little bit from that community piece.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
is extremely important.
Yeah.
Is there a vision that you have for your future in business, right? Or any steps you want to achieve, or anything you want to leave with our audience today?
Oh goodness. Well, stay tuned because I am launching another company that I think will be, I guess, it's more of my legacy company. So that's the one that
Mm.
stay tuned for that. More on that later.
Yes.
But I think that will be kind of a culmination of everything. So I'll be,
Mm.
teaching about home ownership. I'll be doing a lot of financial education, helping with entrepreneurship, helping parents teach their kids.
Yes.
Really making that communal kind of environment, supportive of parents. So I think that it's what I'm going to use all the skills. I'm going to use everything that I've
Mm.
done. Like you said, writing that 100-page book, I think it's
Mhm.
all going to be um, wrapped up in this org that I'm building out. So stay tuned for that. We should be up and running it very soon. And I think that's going to be it because I'm not done. Like
Yes.
I've said earlier, I'm just getting started, and this is a really good time for me, especially now I'm a grandma. Let's just stop there. I'm a grandma,
Yeah.
and so I realized that my experiences are important. I've lived a
Yes.
phenomenal life, a fabulous life, and I want to share it. I want to make sure that people are equipped, and just that I've really contributed something to them. So That's what we're
Wow.
doing. Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. And you know, I pray that those parents and those adults that are watching too, that they are encouraged, that they know that keep going. Don't stop. We're just getting started.
Yeah, we really are. All of us are, right? Like whatever yesterday was great. We got more days behind us than we do in front of us, though. So let's keep the momentum going. Take
Let's
what
go.
take those lessons, take those L's that you had, and turn them into
Yeah.
W's. We still have more winning to do. We still have a lot to accomplish. There's a lot to do
Ooh.
here. And the best investment you can make in yourself. Diamond, so awesome to have.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me as a guest. I really, I really appreciate this. I appreciate you allowing me to pause and stop and kind of reflect on the experiences that I've had. It's a great reminder of where I've been. So I appreciate that for me. I hope I've added value to you and your listeners. And just really, I'm excited for this and the Success Club. I know it's going to be
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, your story inspired me. I'm excited for what's to come for you
Thank
and
you.
for us. If you need anything from me, definitely reach out anytime. And for
Awesome.
those that are watching, you know you can contact us at mcnultyinternational.com if you want to be a part of the Success Club, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself. Jessica, I'm pretty sure is interested. If you have any
Absolutely.
questions for her, you can reach out to her as well. But thank you all for tuning in. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see y'all next time inside the boardroom. Take care.
Bye bye.